There are a lot of hot fashion items in this world, things you want, things you feel like you need, and they can be very expensive. So you think, oh, I'll find a secondhand version, a used version for less money. And sometimes these things have not even hit the secondhand market yet. Or if they are there, they're few and far between, they're not in your size, etc. So what I want to go through is some of the strategies I use, some of the processes I use to find essentially secondhand dupes of things that you really want. I had some people from my Discord send in suggestions of things that they've been craving that are out of their budget. And so we'll go through and see if I can find much cheaper secondhand versions. Let's start with a pair of clousottes. In the description, it says, this model, originally technical, was inspired by the mountain hikes of the 60s and 80s. It is inspired by a vintage shoe. So you can go about this in two ways. You can either know the specific type of shoe, like the term for the shoe, and use that. You can do an image search, which I really like doing, or you can figure out what vintage brands used to do this type of shoe and look up that brand. So let's go to Gem. I'm a big Gem fan. You can use this app on your phone, but essentially it allows you to search a whole bunch of secondhand sites at once. So instead of going to eBay and Grailed and Depop, etc., separately, I can just search in Gem and it'll look through all of them. So let's just look up Paraboot clousottes first, see what we got here. Okay, so there are some. They're either the same price or way more, which is not helpful, and there aren't very many. I think maybe they don't sell the clousottes anymore. That's why some of them are way more expensive, which makes them even harder to find. But similarly, we can look at the Avarias. So let's get a picture here. So immediately this gives you an idea of what these shoes are originally based off of, because these are not Paraboots. These are, I think, another French brand. These are probably Danners. Yeah. Danner is probably the easiest way to go, especially vintage. You'll find a lot of secondhand Danner. And you see already we have a whole bunch of options. And they're not that different than the Avarias. You can also, if you really like, for whatever reason, these striped shoelaces, you can just get Danners and put striped shoelaces on them. So from here, obviously, if you have more specific things you want, you can do size by men's or by women's. You can then also, let's say you're like, I like the Danners, I'm interested in those. You can go on eBay and look up Danner if you like the eBay search function a little bit more. And the reason this works specifically for this style is because, like I said, it's just a vintage hiking shoe. These are not new creations. Obviously, there's design elements that are specific to the Avarias, and potentially there are quality differences in these shoes, but the budget is the budget, honestly, and sometimes it really does come down to that. The other thing about this strategy that I personally like, not everyone may feel this way, sometimes you want something because it's popular, but I think this allows you to shop the trend, be a part of the zeitgeist, and do it for cheaper and do it slightly uniquely, right? Now you're going to have something that is still trendy, but it's more uniquely yours to get something secondhand, a little bit more beat up with a different shoelace, etc., etc. It's going to be unique. Before I move on, I'd like to thank the sponsor for this video, Uber Eats. My husband and I both cook, and we like to cook, but we're also both YouTubers. We work at home, and sometimes we have long nights, lots of editing to do. We look at each other, there's not enough food in the fridge, and we're like, let's order Uber Eats. There are so many restaurants available on the app, and there's great promotions, so you can save money. We usually like to order something that we're not good at cooking ourselves, and my husband has really worked on his pasta skills, so we're not ordering a lot of Italian, but there are so many amazing cuisines in New York City to order from. I mean, we just have everything available at the tip of our fingers here. We're very, very lucky in that regard. You can order with just a couple of taps, pay and tip within the app, as well as track your food from the restaurant to your house the whole way. Head over to Uber Eats to discover new deals, order from hundreds of restaurants. I have a discount code for you. That is Persia15. It will get you $15 off your first order with a minimum basket size of $20. That deal is for first-time customers only. Terms and fees apply. Now, let's get back to the rest of the video. Okay, we started off with an easy one. I want to take you to something that's much, much more difficult. So you understand that this doesn't always work, but there are still strategies to trying it out with something like this, which is the Studio Nicholson Cabo coat. It's just, stuff like this is tough. It's really just a dark blue navy coat. Obviously, Studio Nicholson makes stuff that drapes super nicely, but it says here, you can see, again, always read the description, it's a raglan sleeve coat. It does have a detachable throat latch, and that's the thing that you'll really run into difficulties here, which is that a lot of these hip coats have throat lashes. I mean, it's not a new thing. It's existed for a while, but they're harder to find, especially if for whatever reason you're really attached yet to the idea of getting a throat latch. Again, there's two ways to go about this. We can look up raglan coat. Let's go back to Jim. If I could take a picture of this, it just doesn't look like much, you know? This guy wearing a dark blue coat. We can try it. Yeah, I want a dark blue coat. Okay, not too bad. So the two words that you can use here are raglan and balmacon. Balmacon, if you use these words, you're going to find sellers that are a little bit more knowledgeable, and they're probably going to charge more because they're using these specific like fashiony words. So the cheaper way to do it is always to just find someone who's like navy wool coat, you know, come and get it. It's so hard to shop for dark coats in dark colors because the detail is so hard to see. So obviously we're having a much harder time here, mostly because we don't know how these fit. This is beams, so that's a good indication that it might be cute, fit well, drape nicely, whatever. But stuff like this, like, I'm not sure. Because here, you know, there's a lot of shit on eBay. Yeah, see, I don't buy stuff off of eBay that's like this. I don't. I won't. I don't. So let's try a different strategy here. Navy blue wool coat. Oh, we have a cute duffel coat here. This is cute too. What is this? That's not bad. And I like that, you know, it doesn't have a throat latch, but you can button the top there. And it's also not a raglan sleeve or a balmacon. Okay, let's get back on track here. So condition, I always do pre-owned, so you don't have people doing drop shipping or whatever it is. I like to do coat length. Unfortunately, as you can see, it's not specified most of the time, but you can always start more filtered and then filter out if you don't like what you see, but I don't want short, that's for sure. And then we can reselect for color. With something like this, that's just kind of general, you need to be looking for a long time. So I'll just scroll and scroll like you're watching TV, you're scrolling. You should be looking, especially if you don't see anything you like. Sometimes you strike gold quickly. You should be looking for weeks. I've had like something that I've been looking for. I've looked for it for 2 weeks, didn't find it, given up, come back a week later and then found it. And you just have to be patient. And you can see very quickly, like, okay, well, maybe you can't, but this is a raglan sleeve. See how it's a military coat. I don't love the weave on this. That's a personal thing. Maybe it doesn't bother you. Maybe you're like, cool, a military coat. Oh, this has a throat latch. Is this more of a trench? Oh, it has a lining. This is very interesting, actually. And, you know, under $200 for a wool coat, I think is pretty much always a good price. Again, I didn't put raglan in. I didn't put balmacon in. You can do that. I just think like even on the things that we've found that I think are workable, they don't have that in the description anywhere. So, you know, you wouldn't find these if you put in raglan or balmacon. This is cute. Oh, it's Burberry. This is a great price for vintage Burberry, and it's a beautiful coat. So what I would do here, obviously you can make an offer, always make an offer, low ball or mid ball or whatever your strategy is. But the first thing I would do is just like it and sit on it for about a day. Unless you have the money, obviously go for it if you have the money, because it could be bought at any time. I would sit on it for a day because sometimes they send automatic discounts or they send offers automatically if you don't make an offer yourself. So I would just like all this stuff. This one's cute too. What is this? Yeah, this is a balmacon. Is it balmacan? I think balmacon sounds better. Cashmere. Anyway, I think we've already found a couple of good options. You know, you'll take what you can get. Unfortunately, for me, the throat latch would not be a do or die because it's going to be tough to find the throat latch. Okay, let's do a next one. I've been really into Fair Isle, as you can see. I got this off of the Real. I had credit, so I did splurge. It's Molly Goddard. And this is now my Fair Isle sweater. But let's say you're looking at a Fair Isle. There's a lot of Fair Isle sweaters out there, but I was just seeing that they were not that cheap. Like I was expecting to get a sweater for like $50, and a lot of them were more expensive. So let's say you like this Jamieson's of Shetland Fair Isle crew knit. This is a little bit more pastel than the one I have. Let's start with a picture because, again, this is the issue you'll run into. If you put Fair Isle, you're going to find less options and for higher prices. So I'm going to take a picture of a Fair Isle sweater and try that first. Okay, there are definitely options. This says Argyle. So again, Fair Isle is not always going to get you there. Let's check real quick what it looks like if we put Fair Isle. As you can see, we're finding Fair Isle and the prices aren't horrible. Actually, these are a lot of women's sweaters for whatever reason. We can filter that. But the style is slightly different, right? You have that almost necklace style Fair Isle versus the entire one, which is what you wanted. That's why the picture is more helpful. So Fair Isle, not so hard. Okay, let's move on. We had a request for this N1 deck jacket from Dehan 1920, which is a great brand. It is $1,295. So we don't want to pay that. I totally understand. However, because this is N1 and I'm not a military buff, I can assume that this is based off of a real military jacket, which will make this search much easier. Dehan 1920 introduces our very own and very special version of the Naval N1 deck jacket. I'm sure they've done a wonderful job designing this jacket. And there is something to be said for clothes that feel updated and feel new and have a new twist to them. But yeah, it's not going to be me. So let's look this up. We're starting the same way. You can look it up by the picture or by the name. Now we know this is called an N1 deck jacket. And in the secondhand world, in the military world, some of this stuff is still very expensive if it's in good quality, but this one isn't. And usually, like if I'm doing this for someone specific, I'll ask them, like, what are the things you absolutely want? Let's say you absolutely want the little fleece or shirling on the inside and you want the buttons to be black, or you want, there's specific things that you might want from this design, and you have to decide for yourself what is the most important to you. This seems to be waxed. I don't think all the ones you're going to find here are waxed. Let's go with the picture because these prices are still relatively high, and I'm seeing a lot of green options, tan options. Now we could use the filter, obviously. And maybe you see something that you're like, oh, I thought I really wanted the blue, but maybe I actually really like this raggedy old one from the 60s and 70s, and that's going to be very cool for me. Okay, so now obviously we're a lot closer. Again, the benefit to searching by picture is that you'll have people selling things that they don't even know are N1 jackets. That means that they could be underpriced, or maybe they're not called, though a lot of these are still called N1. Seems like people know what they have. Let's do a pricing filter. Let's get really cheap just to see. I mean, we still have options here. This is more of a suede, so that's relatively different. This is located in Japan, so that'll be tough, but maybe you are too. As far as I can see, because the reproduction market is so big and has been so big in Japan, you're seeing a lot of these options in Asia and not in the US. Let's do another shoe. This is the Our Legacy Camion boot. It has been hot. I feel like it has petered out a little bit, but I actually think this is a pretty hard shoe to find a dupe of. Because, what are we going to say here? Let's look at the description. Our Camion boot in black, produced in an aniline-dyed Italian calf leather. Our Camion boot features a Vibram outsole leather. Yeah, I mean, this is not giving us anything to go by. It really just is about the shape and the style. And then again, I would focus very deeply on what you like about this. Do you like the square toe? Do you like the height of the calf? Does it need to have a zipper in that spot? I think the easiest and first thing that I would give up on is the way that the leather is stitched in this L. Let's see what we can get. My concern with this is that the AI won't be able to really distinguish what is unique about the shoe. We are obviously seeing a lot of women's shoes, but if you can fit into a 10.5 women's, this is already not a bad option. Okay, this just looks like a knockoff. It's not a bad way to find a real dupe, I guess. What is this? Kimchi? Is this really just kind of a South Korean dupe of the Camion boots? Wow, this might just be a dupe. Oh no, the stitching is different. I thought in the picture the stitching was the same. Yes, in the picture the stitching is the same. Okay, 300, and let's just say, what's a kind of average men's size? 10.5. Done. Sandro. Okay, Sandro's got its own version. What is this? All Saints. It's kind of now that I'm looking at it, it's kind of like a minimal motorcycle boot. Dirk Bickenberg. Oh no, Dirk Bickenberg style. It's so funny when they do that They do that all the time on Grailed. I don't know what it is about the community over on Grailed where they're always like, ooh, Yoji Yamamoto style. I mean, I know why they do it. They're doing it for SEO purposes, essentially, but it's annoying. I kind of wish Grailed would be like, you can't do that. Okay, so we have some not bad options. I would say the biggest issue we're having here is with the square toe. Again, you're going to knock down a lot of your options very quickly by typing in square toe. This is square toe. Okay, let's try it. So as you can see, when I do an additional search, it keeps the image and then adds the information that I'm putting in, which is pretty nice. A little heel. A little heel for the boys. This is cute. Oh, it's Prada. $300, $2,000. Ooh. Those are nice. You guys should get those. And you're still, what are we? $300, $400 cheaper than our Legacy Camion boots, and you can buy 2000s Prada. They look like they're in really good condition too. What's the catch here? No shipping to Germany. I think they're cute. Send an offer. See what you can get. So that's the Our Legacy Camion boots. I feel like this is getting repetitive. Let's do a real challenge here. I want to do, what is this wool coat I have? Son of Stag. This I actually think is not going to be that hard. We have a Son of Stag John Glucko coat. The reason why I think it's not going to be that hard is because, well, I mean, you're not going to get something exactly the same here with this leather collar belt, but the print is, you know, it's a Southwestern style, i.e. Native American. I think that print is going to make it super easy to do an image search of. Honestly, what did we do before image search? Things were much harder. Are they going to be as nice? No, probably not. But a lot of these are pretty nice. Very funky. Look at this one. This is cute. Oh, it's Orvis. Classic. Get yourself an Orvis jacket. There are so many options here. We don't even need to go through this. Let's knock down the price just to see what we're filtering out here, because I know my eyes glaze over the price and then I'm like, wow, so many beautiful options and they're very expensive. This is kind of cool. What is this? United Workers. I wish it didn't have the United Workers. It's kind of like a blanket coat otherwise in a way that I think is really cute. What is this? Art comes first. Vintage capital style. Girl, everyone on Grailed needs to go to some sort of like morality class. Don't tell me it's capital style. Everyone on Grailed is about to learn about the trolley problem. So, like I said, some things you can just tell are going to be pretty easy to search. Now, here's the real challenge. Someone wants this Evan Kenori Irish tweed check shirt. The problem with a shirt like this, finding something similar secondhand, is that we can plug this in and it'll show us a brown check shirt. It's not going to have the shape that an Evan Kenori shirt would have. It's not going to have the quality. It's not going to have the beautiful textiles that he uses. I'm going to at least try. Let's just look up, actually, I'm curious how much Evan Kenori there is right now in the secondhand market. 253, not horrible. We have a shirt here for 300. I mean, he's gotten very popular. The longer he's popular, the more there is going to be on the secondhand market. But the people who bought these clothes know how valuable they are. So you're not going to find, you know, people who are like, what's Evan Kenori? I mean, maybe a couple years down the line, and they'll just be like, who gives a rat's ass about this window pane checkered shirt, you know? Window pane. What to do? How do you find something that's comparable to an Evan Kenori shirt? I just think that doing an image search is going to get us... It's not that it's going to get us nowhere. It's just not going to get to the thing that is special that you want from an Evan Kenori shirt. Yeah. Look how similar these are. But this is, I mean, now I'm stressed. I was doing so well. There's no way to really differentiate here. Let's see what this is made out of. 100% wool. Let's start at the start here. Lined. How many tweed wool shirts do you see that are lined? Well, we found that shirt again. What's this? This is interesting. It's sort of speckled weave. At least it's interesting. Lined. Are any of these actually lined? I don't see that. Vintage J. Crew. You know, I do feel like we've gotten closer here. Like, I think this is a pretty nice shirt. And if you are looking for something like that Evan Kenori shirt, you would be happy to own this. Just from the pictures, I can tell that the weave is rather nice. It is cotton. It's not wool. I think I'm going to take this over to eBay and see what we can find there. I'm going to go all in on filters, I think. Let's see where that gets us. Okay, this is dumb. I'm just going to look up shirt. Maybe I'll look up tweed shirt. Casual button-down shirts. Pre-owned, of course. Always, always, always. Color, I'm going to put brown and multicolored because that's in the world we were in. And then I'm going to specify, ooh, let's do some of these, sure. Cashgora, what is that? Oh, Cashmere Angora. I do like to do these, even though, again, non-specified is a huge number more. It just helps so much to know what fabric you're getting. Oh, there is a tweed. All right, let's see where this gets us. I mean, it's not that similar to the Evan Kenori shirt, but it's a nice looking shirt. I'm just going to open a bunch of these. We will look at them later. I'm like all in, you know, on this sort of really textural fabric. So this is still, is that lined? Is this one lined? No, it's just the collar. Listen, it's not bad. It's not bad for what we're looking for. This one is nice. I really like seeing the weave like this. I think that will be beautiful in person. I don't like this. Save it for you guys. I can try and post a bunch of these links if you guys are interested. Sometimes I do save a bunch of secondhand links on my ShopMy. I'll link that below. And I can do like a entry for each of these items. It's just hard because I don't know your guys' budgets and I don't know your sizes. So obviously there's a lot of options here to pull from. I like this a lot. 1950s small Macy's sportswear wool rockabilly. What a weird description. If we zoom in here again, we're seeing every detail here. A small might be for Persia. This, I think the shape is just all wrong for what you're looking for out of this. It's a little bit too business shirt shape. It seems slim. I don't like the button down aspect of it. Okay, and we're back on our search. So this is what I do. I go through, I'm like, did I find some good options? Then I go back to my original search. I save some more. I go through. I like things. I wait for an offer. I make offers. I think about my life. I make different choices. I make the same choices. I buy things off of eBay that were cheap that I didn't check the measurements for. I make mistakes. I get messy. And then we do it all over again. This is insane. But look at that knit. What an interesting shirt. Not for me. So yeah, I don't know if this like wool lined shirt exists secondhand, but I believe in your ability to find things that are in the spirit of what you want. There's one that I was really excited for. Was it this one? Totally different pattern than the Evan Kenori, obviously. But we've left that behind, I think. We've moved on from that as a possibility. Again, you're seeing things like, oh, maybe I want a Donegal flannel, tweed flannel. Maybe I want Pendleton, if that's what's getting you closest to the thing you want. Maybe Woolrich is the answer. Maybe Eddie Bauer is the answer. Let's look at this. Okay, we got to stop. But this is literally, I mean, you have to be down bad about this stuff. The guys who do this, who really find nice stuff secondhand on eBay, and they do this for hours and they do this constantly. This is really pretty. I really like this, actually. It's $20. I think this is beautiful. Very interesting colors, gorgeous weave here. Looks like it's in great condition. I would buy it. What else is on our list here? Oh, Bode jacket, because I want to just suffer. I want to suffer and cry and try to find you guys nice things for yourself. So I have two examples down here. We have this Human Assembly house jacket with these patches, and we have this Bode jacket. Now, the short answer, I'll tell you right off the bat without looking for this kind of stuff online, the short and quickest answer to this is DIY. Or it's not the short or quickest. It's going to be long and arduous, especially if you don't have these skills. Maybe you have a friend with these skills. And Bode especially, like a lot of the aesthetic is this like embroidery. It has, what are they called? The senior cords. This is stuff that is meant to be done yourself. It's meant to be personalized. And that is a beautiful way to get something like this. We can do a quick search just for shits and giggles, but I'm telling you right now, the way to get something like this is to get a white jacket and do embroidery on it or put a patch on it and just do it yourself. Let's just see what crazy stuff they have here. This is interesting. Oh, this is Cardo. Yeah, Cardo is a great brand. This jacket is $250. Not horrible. If we do the other side, if that gets us anywhere interesting. Yes. Okay. What is this? Okay, interesting. This stuff is all ugly. What's this? Weird. Oh, it's Comme des Garçons. Huh. Yacht. Vintage John Charleston. Sport. I mean, that could be cute. It's not at all what we were looking for. Only 110 made. Anyway, we'll do this one too real quick. Again, get a black chore coat. The lining, I think you could eschew. I don't even really like that striped lining, to be honest. And yeah, sew some patches on it. It's not that hard. Like sewing patches, it's not that difficult a skill. We have some more options here. Okay, this patchwork style. This is kind of fun. Yeah, okay, so this one, there's a couple of things you could probably work with. Ooh, this is cute. This is really cute. Oh, it's Mercari. I'm just gonna look up embroidered. And then we're gonna do in the filters. So let's say color, I'm gonna say white, because that's what we're looking for, and multicolor, because it's embroidered, who knows? We're not gonna find a lot of things here. Yeah. I meant what I said and I said what I meant. An elephant's trustworthy 100%. So there's a little insight into how I like to shop. If you are looking for something specific and you feel like this video wasn't helpful enough, you want me to do it for you, you can join my Patreon and message me on Discord and I will help you. I do find this to be a fun activity, but not everyone does. Not everyone thinks of it as a fun game. And so yeah, always reach out and let me know. Let me know if there are any tips I missed, if there are things that you like to use. I'm sure everyone who's watching the video, who's in the comments, would love to hear about it. But yeah, just a little insight into how I buy used. Buying used is the way.